adjuster. Daniel the adjuster. I'm here again. Yeah, so interesting day. Interesting day. Just getting rid of a notification there. So, my endless vandalism claim. Back to this house again for the engineer visit. Yeah, engineer visit. Now we insured, since they had 5 claims open on this house, it flagged the insurance company to say that they needed an engineer now to go out to the house and verify all the damages. So they don't trust us as adjusters, so they need an engineer. And you could see just by the looks on his face, he was like, why am I out at this this house? So yeah, it was quite an interesting experience, spending another hour with this engineer at this vandalism house. So kind of silly, but the process of what do you call them, dotting the I's and crossing the T's of inspections to make sure that when we deny these claims, that there is lots of people that have looked at this house and are verifying that everything is wear and tear and not vandalism. So the poor guy, I mean, he is hopeful that his house will get some coverage there, but from my experience, there is a pretty significant line that has to occur between vandalism and just normal wear and tear with rental properties. And you know, it's going to have to be pretty malicious activity, meaning, you know, we're talking about tearing things up on purpose and ripping out appliances, ripping down light fixtures and ripping doors off cabinets and stealing the granite countertops and the sinks and, you know, bashing holes all over the house, like just hundreds, and spray painting the walls. In fact, I had one. I'll tell you a story. I know of an absolute vandalism claim that happened years ago. So I roll up to this house, and it was interesting. It was very interesting because I rolled up to this house, and the entire house looked like blood. So it was a nice pale color with stone and cream colored trim, and the house was now splattered with red. And we're not talking a little bit of red. We're talking the brightest red you could find. Almost the entire driveway was covered in red paint. The car was covered in red paint. The garage and the stonework on the front of the house was splattered, just thrown buckets, and probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 3 or 4, maybe even 5 gallons of paint had been thrown all over this house with red, bright red paint. All over the shingles, on the little porch, all over windows, siding, stone, garage door, sidewalks, car, and driveway. And it was a mess. And it was a disgruntled boyfriend who was mad because this girl dumped him and she was dating his best friend. So, needless to say, he was kind of angry. So, I laugh, but these things are interesting to come up on because they're not just your typical boring claims, and they're things that I can write stories about and tell people about later. So it's actually kind of humorous that people get that angry about somebody and relationships. Maybe I was that way. Maybe that's the problem, is that I didn't have a whole lot of relationships when I was younger, so I didn't have that jealousy factor of all the problems that occur with the relationships, and somebody's dating your best friend, or they dump you to go to the prom with somebody else. I didn't even go to my prom. No one would have asked me anyways. I wouldn't have asked anybody either. So See, it's funny. Notice I said no one would have asked me, because that's what happens today. The girls are now asking guys to go to the prom. It's like, what? No, it's not how it's supposed to work. Backwards. Anyways, so I didn't have all that drama in my life with relationships when I was younger. So I can understand why this guy, he was pretty angry. His girl is dumping him and then going out with his best friend. But throwing 5 gallons of red paint on a house, that's vandalism. And that guy is going to be in trouble, because he's going to pay for all the damages. Like, we're going to have to re-roof the roof on that porch, pressure wash everything as best as possible. But that red dye on paint, oh my goodness, is so hard to get out. I mean, you see this stuff that, when they graffiti down the side of the roads and they spray concrete, they spray those retaining walls or they spray concrete, it doesn't come off. It always leaves this residue. So when you think about with brick, or it's porous to an extent, so that red work, and pressure washing doesn't always take it off. And so now you're talking about replacing stonework on the front of the house, obviously replacing the garage door. Who knows about the car? The cement will you could probably get the sidewalk and the driveway probably clean to an extent. Maybe you have to resurface it, possibly. But yeah, the siding, nah, that's not coming off. That soaks right into the plastic. So yeah, so vandalism is very clear cut. So I went in there with this one, and again, I've been to this house twice now. I got 5 claims over it, which means I get paid for 5 claims. Don't know what happened, guys. Just went black screen for some reason. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so oh, I see. Yeah, somebody's leaving me a voicemail. Oh, I hate those things. Hate those things. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yeah, when I have junk calls that come in, it just immediately goes to voicemail, and they're annoying because they stop me from. I hope you guys can still hear me. Can you hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I certainly don't want to be talking if you guys can't hear me. So yeah, so I'm just heading back from that inspection, but I get 5 billings for this. Even though I only have to really inspect it once. Well, now it's twice. But now we got to go back and I got to write another report that states that I met with the... Oh, good. Thanks, Corey. Hey, Corey. Welcome again. Yeah, so now I've got to write another report for each file as a supplement, saying that I went back and inspected with the engineer. I could tell by the look on the engineer's face that he wasn't impressed. Like, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But he was nice. He was being real cordial, kind of like what we're supposed to do when we go out and do these inspections, is even though we know there's probably no coverage here, we still have to make the insured feel like we're giving them a full inspection. So he was really good at that. He was quiet, and just every time the insured pointed something out, he took a picture of it, and he was taking his own pictures. He actually took way more pictures than I did, which he was taking pictures of the vents that had all this soot that was stuck on the roof popcorn ceiling from the garbage or dirt and dust that was in the HVAC unit. So clearly, oh yeah, he opened up the filters even on the returns, and they were black. I mean, they were just black. So here's where it comes back to again. This solidifies the fact that the owner was not taking care of this house. Is that the owner needs to be going back and changing those filters. That tenant is not going to change that filter. Okay, we know that. We know they're not going to take care of it. So when I walk in and, and both of us see this filter and it's totally like caked up with a ½ an inch of dust and dirt and smoke like cigarette smoke debris, yellow, we know this guy is not monitoring this house. And unfortunately, if a tenant realizes that you're never coming into the house to look at, to inspect the house or to follow up to make sure that they don't have a pet or make sure that they're maintaining the things they're supposed to be doing, like making sure the doors still lock and, and then they would have seen all the damage from the dog. Like he even told me, like on the second round, that, yeah, the fence was kind of run down to begin with. The fence was old. The house was 15 years old, so the fence is 15 years old. So yeah, the fence is it's in pretty bad shape to begin with. Well, then I'm thinking, well, it wouldn't take much for that dog to push up against one of those slats for those things to fall off. And I'm not going to count that as malicious vandalism from an animal. Because a 15-year-old fence and a dog running up against it is probably going to knock off some of those slats. They're all dry rotted. He has never painted the fence, never stained it. It's the original fence, and it's all rotten and falling apart. And so he's claiming the fence. And I'm like, so I tried to talk to him a little bit today, and I just said, now, your fence is 15 years old. I said, have you ever done any type of maintenance to the fence? And he says, yeah, I put up a few slats, and I can see them. He had pointed out the ones that he had replaced. And so then I said, okay. And I said, have you ever stained it or painted it since you own this property? And he goes, no. And I said, well, fences are going to fall apart over time if, once the moisture is out of the wood, then it's going to fall apart even more. It's just going to keep getting worse. And so I, tried to explain to him it probably would have been a good idea to, you could spray on some weather guard or some kind of sealant on that fence that would have certainly help it from soaking up water, and then maybe give it some more length of life. And he agreed. He said, yeah, I probably could have maintained that fence a little more. So I think he's learning. He even told me in there, he says, yeah, I probably should have visited more often in the house, and seen if the people were taking care of the house. So, I think truly he understood he did a lot of things wrong on this rental property. And now he's kind of taking a last-ditch effort in order to see if insurance will help him with anything in the house as far as repair. And there's nothing in this house that's going to be justified other than wear and tear and lack of maintenance that's going to help him out with anything in here. And he's bummed, and I think he realizes that, and realizes that he's probably not going to get a whole lot of coverage, because even while he was talking to the engineer, he was saying, I'm just hoping I'll get something. But here's the thing. Each one of these claims, the thing that he has forgot the most about, every one of these claims has got a $1,000 deductible on it. So he's got 5 claims. The first $5,000 of any damage in this house is not going to be covered. $5,000 of paint, $5,000 of animal damage. $1,000 of paint, in case it was drywall damage. Okay, $1,000 of carpet damage, which he's not going to get anything for that either. $1,000 of animal damage. $1,000 of vandalism. So all the things that he's talking about fixing are not that expensive except for the carpet, and then there's nobody who's going to cover the carpet because that's just wear and tear. And so I'm not sure he's thinking about that he's got to come up with the first $5,000 for any of these claims to be paid. And so maybe he makes it on one. Maybe the carpet gets covered by some fluke chance. And which it won't. I'm even just thinking about it now, and it's like, no, there's nothing. They got one room that's got some burn hole marks with cigarette, and in the closet. So they were sitting their ashtray down in the closet and smoking in the closet. So we got about 4 or 5 burn holes in the carpet. Well, if they do cover any of this, it would be maybe the carpet in the master closet, and that's like $200 maybe. So again, $1,000 deductible. He's not getting anything. So it just kind of, it's kind of surprising, you know, that he didn't think about this policy, think about opening all these claims and realizing he's got to pay the first $1,000 on every bit of this damage. And most of it is drywall, paint, you know, some stickers on the wall that's going to rip drywall off. And even then, you can't even really, it's not malicious to hang stickers on the wall. So that's not even a potential coverage there. So it's just kind of sad. Kind of sad that we've gone so far into this claim and had so much people looking into this. And really what it's going to do is just frustrate everybody and cause him to lose his coverage on this house. Anyways, so the other claim I had today was a water claim, and it was actually quite a big one. This one was a little bit frustrating because there was an enormous amount of drywall taken out of this house for a toilet overflow. Now, and it was interesting because when I was talking to the remediation company, he said, this is the most drywall we've taken out for any toilet overflow ever. And so I asked him, I said, so what happened? I said, this is kind of water damage that looks like maybe the water supply line came off the toilet and was spewing for like 2 hours. Because I told him, I said, we got upstairs tons and tons of damage, downstairs tons and tons of damage. You know, we're writing a whole lot of damage in this house. And so I asked him, I said, what happened? And he goes, well, I have a feeling the insured said they had a clog in the toilet, and then they were having a bath or a shower at the same time. Like after they clogged the toilet, they just went ahead and had a shower. Okay, so from their understanding is that the toilet was overflowing while they were having a shower, because obviously the water going down the shower was forcing whatever water was in the toilet back up again. And they said the valve was stuck in the back of the tank, which then was allowing new water to fill in to the toilet when it was overflowing. So, you know, you take a 20-minute shower, and, you know, whoever took the shower, who knows? But apparently the woman who is the other, and this was again a rental property, she was in the kitchen and the water was coming down in the living room. And I was a little bit, there's a big open floor plan. There's no reason why she shouldn't have seen the water coming down in the living room if she's sitting in the kitchen, but apparently she didn't until it, you know, was going on for some time. Anyway, so it basically flooded the whole living room ceiling. I mean, we're like 10 sheets of drywall on the ceiling that came out. And she said she filled one of those 50-gallon buckets, trash cans, about half full of water that was coming down. So, yep, I think you had a leak. So, and it's toilet water. So, you know, when the remediation company comes in, they've got to rip out everything that water touches because it's dirty water. So it's kind of sad, but yeah, what a mess. And there's a lot of work to writing up this estimate. This is not some dinky little estimate that it's going to take no time at all to write up. It's actually going to take some time to write up. And those are never fun. So yeah, so that was my two claims today. One where I'm just going to have to write up a simple report that I should be able to copy and paste to 5 claims, and then for the reinspection to go out with the engineer. Nice to get paid for that, and then I get paid for the water claim I'm doing today. We've got some big weather coming here today in North Carolina. I don't know if you've got where you guys are from or if you've seen some of it, but there's this whole band of storms that's coming out literally from the north all the way to the south. There have been tornadoes and stuff. Alabama's got all sorts of mess going on down there. Mississippi, tornadoes, roofs ripped off, metal roofing. Yeah, tons of wind. Well, that storm is coming across us today in North Carolina, and they're talking 6 winds. So yee! 60-mile-an-hour winds, yay! The only guys that get excited about weather is adjusters. so I'm excited that we'll have a big wind claim and maybe get some roofs that I can inspect and get some work, because man, it's so slow. There's not enough work here, and I don't like wintertime because it's too slow, so we need a big hailstorm. And actually they did say there's a potential for hail too, so I'm excited that maybe we'll get some big front that will come through. The weather's, you know, cold and hot. Right now it's warm here, so I guess the cold front's coming through. So maybe that violent change in temperature will bring us some really nasty weather. So yeah, so this morning it is 10:41 Eastern time. Very early or easy morning as far as inspections. Just a couple inspections today. Nothing big, but it's going to take some time to write these estimates this afternoon. Oh, pardon me. It's going to take some time because there's quite a bit involved with this water claim. There's a lot of damage. Oh, hitting Charlotte now. Okay. Bad over there, Corey? Yeah, I'm telling you, it looked bad on the radar. So, and we've got some wind here. Like, we got some wind. We got some stuff blowing around right now. We got good 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, I think, right now. Trees are swinging all over the place. So I don't like the wind in some respects because of all the trees that come down, because that's a mess. Tree claims are no fun. They cause a lot of damage, and they take a lot of estimating to write up those claims. So I don't like tree claims much. So yeah, it looks like there's tornado weather potentially. Got some swirling going on up above. And anyways, well, I'm going to head out of here, guys. Short one today, but want to get home and get estimating. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And yeah, thanks for watching, Corey. You're always faithful. I appreciate it. And you guys take care and be safe out there, all right? We'll see you on the next one. Daniel the Adjuster. Bye, guys.